Good afternoon, everyone. How has been our day? And happy Easter once again to my viewers. Today, I'll be doing a little bit about revision on what we already know before, and the revision that we are going to be doing is on JAMB biology. I'll be taking you through a series of topics like that, and these topics they are in line with the JAMB syllabus. And by now, I hope that we are very familiar with the JAMB syllabus. If you are not familiar, go and get yourself familiar with it. It is what the really wise thing to do at this moment, because for the time is very short. JAMB is starting by May 6th. And so today, in the first topic and the JAMB syllabus, the first one is about living organism, and then JAMB require also to know about the characteristic of the living thing. That's the first thing. Characteristic of living thing. And what are the characteristic of living thing? These are something that we are very familiar with. That's our Mr. Niger D. I know that we are Mr. Niger D. That is movement, respiration, nutrition, irritability, growth, excretion, reproduction, and then death. Movement, respiration, nutrition, irritability, growth, excretion, reproduction, and what's death. Those are what the characteristic of a living thing. These are what the thing that actually what make what living thing what differ is a movement. Non-living thing cannot reproduce, while what living thing what are able to reproduce. Those are what the basic thing about what living what organism that JAMB actually will require it was to know in the first what syllabus. Then in the first topic of the syllabus rather. Then another thing that JAMB requires us to know is about what the cell. What is a cell? The cell is the structural and functional unit of life. Cell is the structural and functional unit of life. Or you can say that what cell is what the basic, is the fundamental and the basic unit of life. Is the structural and functional unit of life. That's the cell, which I know that we are familiar with. But please, apart from being familiar with, there are still a lot of questions that might come out in this topic. So do your best and read and read and read and read. There is still time. And please, there is something that I want us to do. Don't put yourself under unnecessary pressure. Don't put yourself on unnecessary pressure. Don't be so tensed that you are so tense that you are not able to do anything again. So what cell is the structural and the functional unit of life. And then apart from knowing about the cell, if you know about the cell, just know about the history of the cell too. About who was the first person that discovered the cell. That was Robert Hooke in 1665. Know about the work of the zoologist and the botanist, that is Matthias Leden and Theodor Schwann. Don't mind the pronunciation, but just know about them like that. And know about the cell theory. It was Theodor Schwann and Matthias Leden that proposed the cell theory. And the cell theory, they are actually theory was in number. The first one is that cell is the structural and functional unit of life. Cell is the structural and functional unit of life. That's the first thing about the cell. Cell is the structural and the functional unit of life. Then the second one is that all cells are made up of pre-existing cells. All cells are made up of pre-existing cells. And then the third one said that all cells are either made up of one cell or many cells. All cells are either made up of one cell or many cells. So I will start again. Cell is the structural and the functional unit of life. Then the second one is that all cells come from pre-existing cell. Then the third one is that was all cells are made up of one cell or many was cell. That is, cell can either be unicellular or multicellular. Cell can either be what unicellular what and multicellular, and those are what the thing that what you should know. What is from the word uni? Whenever you see uni just means what one, and multi what refers what to many. So what I hope that what you will try and what read your books again on cell. This is the introduction part self. That's the first thing. One of the first thing that was JAMB but actually will require you was to know. So we've talked about the cell. That's the cell is the structural and the functional unit of life. And then the second one is about the cell theory. That is, the first one is our cell is the structural and functional unit of life. And then that all cells are made up of pre-existing cell, and cell are made up of one organism are made up of one cell or many cells. That the cell can either be unicellular or multicellular. Then we have the definition of cell, the cell theory. Then the third point that you are required to know is about the type of cells. There are two types of cells. The first one are the prokaryotic cells, and the second one are the eukaryotic cells. Type of cell. Number one is the prokaryotic cell, while the second one is the eukaryotic cell. Let me spell it for you. Prokaryotic, prokaryotic cell, while the second one is the eukaryotic cell. EUKARYOTIC. And the main thing about this prokaryotic and the eukaryotic cells is that prokaryotic cells does not have what a definite nucleus. Prokaryotic cell does not have what a definite nucleus, while the eukaryotic cell have what a definite nucleus. So what we've talked about the cell theory, which please whenever we are talking or just teaching this kind of relation, it is good that we will be writing something down so for that we'll be able to grab what everything was faster. So the cell theory, the type of cells. What are type of cell again? The prokaryotic and the eukaryotic cell. And then just know about the component of the cell. That's the cell structure. And there are some main cell structure that you are supposed to know self. The first one is the cell membrane. The cell membrane, the cell wall, the cytoplasm, the nucleus. Please don't forget all these basic ones. And there's a reason why, like I said, don't forget about the cell membrane, the cell wall, the cytoplasm, and your nucleus. They are very, very important. And apart from that one, know what's your other cell organelles too. We have the mitochondria, the cytoplasm. Okay, we've mentioned the cytoplasm before. We have the mitochondria. We have the chlorophyll, the Golgi apparatus. We have the endoplasmic reticulum. We have the vacuole, and many like that. There are many inside the cell. So please don't forget. And I want to give you an assignment. All the cells that I mentioned, try and know their function, because if I want to be listing them one by one, this video might not be able to contain it, because I won't spend long. I don't want you to bore you with long or teaching like that. So please, this short video that I'm making, you have a lot to do too. All those, what is the function of the nucleus? Try and know it very well. There are many. What's the function of the cell wall? What's the function of the cell membrane? And the cell wall and the cell membrane, they are just the outer part. They are the outer part of your cell. What is the function? Then know about what the plant cell and animal cell. The plant cell and animal cell. there are some similarities that are present in both plant cell and animal cell, and some of them are what the nucleus. The nucleus, they both have what vacuoles. They both have the cell membrane. They both have what the nucleolus. There are some what things that they would both have what together. Please and please know their similarity, and also what know their differences too. There are some differences between what plant cell and animal cell that you are supposed to familiarize yourself with. The first one is that what plant cells are actually they are square or rectangular in shape. Plant cells are square or rectangular in shape, while animal cells are round. They have a round shape. Then the second difference is that what why plant has what a cellulose cell wall. Plant has a cellulose cell wall, while the animal cell have what the flexible cell membrane. The animal cell do not possess cell wall. The animal cell do not have cell wall. It is only the plant cell that have cell wall. Then the third thing about another difference is that the nucleus in plant cell usually present in the side of the cell, while in the animal cell the nucleus usually centralized. Also, the plant cell has a very large vacuole. It has a large vacuole, while the animal cell have a short, don't let me use short, a small vacuole. And also there is something that the animal cell have that the plant cell does not have, and that is what plant cell have chlorophyll. Plant cell have chlorophyll. Okay, don't let me get too advanced like that. A chlorophyll is present in the chloroplast. So a plant cell have a chloroplast, while animal cell does not have a chloroplast. Plant cell have a chloroplast and animal cell don't have chloroplast. So these are the little things that you should not forget. And please for this JAMB biology, past questions are very, very important. Past questions are very, very important. So after what you have seen this video, I just charge us. Let's go and treat past question about this. So have a nice day. We'll continue next time.